What's good, everybody? What's up? It's Stephen Qualls II, aka Mr. Qualified. It's your boy, and we're back for another qualified interview. I have not only is this family first and foremost, but I have the extremely talented Kayla Marie Jackson. I will let her reintroduce herself and a little bit of what she does before we get the interview started. But yeah, go ahead, cousin. Introduce yourself.
Hey y'all, it's so cool to be on my cousin's podcast. Well, we're family in two different ways. So yeah, it's so cool to be on your podcast. Thanks for having me. My name is Kayla Marie Jackson, and I am a professional celebrity dancer and actress and choreographer. Just an overall artist. I have had a career in the entertainment industry for going on 8 years now, and it has expanded across dancing for professional sports teams to film, television, dancing on stage with some of your favorite artists, and in some of your favorite artists' music videos.
Yes. No, yes. Again, like I said, ultra talented, and I'll just jump right into the questions from there. So when did or what made you fall in love with dance?
So I fell in love with dance at a very young age. I had a lot of family members who were already involved in the entertainment industry and who were professional dancers on both sides of my family, my paternal and maternal side of the family. And when I was younger, they always said that I had like a dancer body. So my mom and dad immediately put me into dance class when I was like 2 years old, as soon as I could walk. And I fell in love with it, I think, when I was 5 years old. I still have journal entries that my mom has kept that said, I want to be a dancer. I want to be a star when I grow up, and I want to be on commercials and TV shows and just everything that I'm living now. Like, I've always expressed that since I was about 5 years old. So I think that's when the turning point for me happened in my life, when I decided what I wanted to do.
Was there any particular moment that either let you know or made you want to make the decision that you seriously wanted to pursue dance outside of it just being a hobby, but more so as a legit career?
I think like there's multiple turning points in my life. I always wanted to have a career in entertainment. I just didn't know how to go about it because, I believe I'm a very multifaceted individual. I have a lot to offer. I'm not just a dancer. I'm also, an intellectual. I'm also, a civic leader. I'm a part of a sorority. I'm a part of Alpha Kappa Sorority Incorporated. I went to college. I went to Spelman College. I don't have a typical artistic degree. I have a degree in economics. And I feel like all my life, I've just been able to be exposed to different avenues outside of dance. So I believe when I realized I wanted to take it serious as a full-time career happened when I was about 27 years old. Up until 27, I did the traditional things. I did the college thing. I, got my degree. I started a master's program. I worked in corporate. And then I also danced for the Atlanta Hawks, and I was a captain for them. I did that for 5 years. Because I was dancing for the Hawks, I was able to, because it's not a full-time job, but it's a part-time job, I was able to balance working full-time and dancing for the Hawks at the same time. While I was with the Hawks, I started taking on more commercial jobs with my agent, Excel Talent Agency. And I enjoyed being on set a lot more than I enjoyed being in the office. And in 2018, I booked my first tour with Teddy Riley and Guy. They're 90s artists. It was the 90s Block Party Tour. And after experiencing that, I knew that I really wanted to take this serious and not work in corporate or do anything outside of the entertainment industry, and truly follow my passions. Shortly after that, because I went on tour, I had to quit my job. So, I left stability to follow my dreams. After that, I came back from tour and I was still dancing for the Hawks. I realized that I didn't want to do the Hawks anymore, and that was no longer fulfilling to me because it was very temporary. Like we would come to the games and then leave. Like that was it. It wasn't like I was working on a long project that I can see for the course of years. Like I couldn't see myself in music videos, or I couldn't see myself like performing next to certain artists. It was just show up to the game, do my dance, maybe have, some footage on TV, maybe not. Like I realized then I wanted to be the star, I wanted to be the artist behind the artist, or the artist. So I retired after my 5th season, and I took on dance full time in the commercial industry. With no training wheels.
No, I think that's amazing. I think a lot of creatives face that decision ultimately at some point in time. What would you say to other creatives who are struggling, who are scared to kind of go out there and be on training wheels or make that decision, not really knowing if it will come to full fruition, and are scared to leave that stability? Because I think that's a big thing for especially young creatives, is like, I want to chase this, but like I really can't go
I want to make this
without
money.
Yeah, I gotta make some money, you know what I'm saying? But what would be your advice, like, or what would be the thing that you would try to tell people to push them to just step out on that faith and really just take a chance at that dream?
One thing that really helped propel me was I have a very strong tribe. I call it my tribe, but like my support system is very strong. It's been strong since I was a little girl. I wouldn't be where I am today without like the support system of my mom, my dad, my grandmother, all my aunts, cousins, just people who really poured into me. And then, the older I got, as much as I expressed to my friends what I wanted to do, they still encouraged me to this day. And mentors that you gain along the way. So like number one, have like a tribe, like a support system of people who will not tell you no, of more so people telling you, how can I help you make X, Y, and Z happen? Like, how can I help get you to X, Y, and Z? Because if people don't see your vision, then you don't need to be talking to your vision about people, if people are trying to talk you out of your vision, then they're no good for you, even if it's family members, you know what I mean? Like I've had to kind of like shut off family members so that I can get to where I need to be until I got to where I was. So I could be like, hey, I got to this place. And then they're like, oh, wow, like you did it. You know what I mean? But still, like I had to shut off that energy from people. 2, I would definitely say have like a strong sense of faith. Like for me, I believe in God, and I believe that the universe is a part of God. And I believe that when you set your intentions on what you want in life and how you want to achieve things in life, God, or whatever you know, have your spirituality in, will lead you to that. Like the universe is always going to lead you to what, like, who you truly are meant to be. So if you believe that you're aligned to what your passions are within the artistic realm or whatever that, whatever you want to do, everything's going to always line up, and everything's going to always like lead to the enroll, So you have to kind of trust in that and have faith that whatever you do, whatever decisions you make, whether you decide to take off the training wheels tomorrow or keep them on for 5 years because you want to stack up money so you're not the starving artist, you just have to kind of trust that that's the right decision for you. 3, don't compare yourself or your journey to anyone. I feel like at a young age, I decided that I didn't want to have a career similar to my cousins who were already in the entertainment industry, which is why I went to college, which is why I got a traditional degree in economics versus going to a Juilliard and only studying dance. I wanted to make myself well-rounded, which is why I made it, my priority to pledge and be a part of a sorority and be a part of something bigger than myself so that I could have a more expansive network outside of it being, a part of my legacy that I'm carrying. Which is also why I decided to go to an HBCU so that I can have those experiences. You know what I mean? So like you have to not compare your journey to anyone else. Like technically I started my commercial career very late compared to a lot of dancers who graduate high school, move out to LA, where I am now, or Atlanta or New York or wherever. And they start their career super young. I didn't, I took a more traditional route and then started my career after I felt like I was stable enough to do that. But I made the best decision for myself. Was at 3, 4, have a plan. and make it plain. So that goes back to like setting intentions for yourself. So once you have your tribe and your supporters, and then once you like believe in yourself and have faith, like, and also like make sure you focus on only yourself and no one else, you definitely have to create a plan and you have to follow it, because no one else is going to hold you accountable but you. Like I made it a goal to myself. I wanted to move to LA. After moving to Atlanta, like it was just like Milwaukee, Atlanta, LA, like it was just very strategic net. Do I wish I had moved to LA sooner? Yeah, I do. But like I said, I had other goals. So I had to achieve them. And once I achieved them, it was time to move on. As scary as it is to make different decisions for yourself, like I said, you have to trust that everything works out. So as long as you have a plan, everything's going to go according to your plan. Even if you do have some like bumps in the road, you just have to have a plan. And I feel like that's what would help more creatives to feel more confident in making a leap of faith in their career.
Yeah, no, you touched on pretty much everything. I think the biggest thing that I've either taken away or that I've learned is the plan aspect of the last thing you said. I think a lot of people want to go after it, but almost go after it blindly with no type of goals to hit or no type of metric for like, okay, this is the first step. Once I do this or once I get on this path, then I can transition here. And that's where a lot of people tend to get lost or lose faith along the way because they don't have that path set out or some type of metric set out in front of them, which I just think is the biggest key. So like you said, you gave all the keys, you gave all of them, but I think that's the biggest one that stuck with me the most. You spoke a lot about your experience in college, and HBCUs now I think have, I don't know if popularity is the word, but they became more recognized, if nothing else, I think on a more broader scale, or at least like nationally, and just across the world. So speak a little bit more to your experience at Spelman and what kind of role that played into who you feel like you are today.
Sorry, y'all. It's like really hot today in LA, and I did not expect this. I thought it was going to be a little windy and breezy, but uh, so HBCUs are definitely more visible, and they're definitely having a lot more visibility. And I think it's because like currently we have a whole vice president of the United States who attended an HBCU. She also is a part of my sorority. And, having that type of visibility and having that type of like, having that type of visibility is crazy. And then on top of that, Stacey Abrams, who is running for governor in Georgia, like she went to Spelman College. There's a lot of like women who are in high places who are now being recognized on a national and global level that is giving us the exposure that we needed, because I believe that HBCUs always had some level of popularity amongst, minority culture. But I call it middle America now knows what HBCUs have to offer, because so much excellence is coming from it. So for me, I actually attended Spelman College because I didn't want to be a number at a college. I thought about coming to Los Angeles to go to UCLA for college. And when I went to a college tour and I visited other colleges and did an HBCU tour, I love the fact that Spelman was literally the pinnacle of Black girl magic. I wanted to be around women who were pioneers, and I wanted to be around women who truly wanted to change the narrative as a woman of color. And because that's what I represent, and that's what, I've grown up to be. That's what I've grown up around. That's all I've grown up around, were badass women who, really were the best of the best. Like when I think about my mom or my grandmother or like aunts and their friends and their family or their sorority sisters or anything like that, like those women were truly the epitome of like a successful Black woman. And I knew that if I went to an institution that had such excellence, that it would cultivate me in my younger years, and really propel me into who I am today. And I also wanted to be connected to that network of women so that I could consistently grow and expand upon, not only with my mentors, but mentor other people. And I have mentees, and I coach. I assistant coach for Mahogany Motion, which is the dance team at Spelman and Morehouse College. And Spelman and Morehouse are sister and brother schools. So, even with that level of excellence that bred me, I'm able to give back into that institution because we're such a small, tight knit community. So I believe that that truly played a role in who I am today, because when I walk into rooms validated, aware of who I am, secure in who I am, and also knowing how to assert myself in different places that other people who may not have had my experience may not know how to do that. And also in a way where it is more acceptable. You know what I mean? Like, I know how to assert myself in a way where it's professional, and people can still receive me, because those are things that Spelman College truly gave me. Those are, assets that they gave me. So, yes.
Oh, I love that answer. And I love that you spoke about being able to give back in that capacity. If we were to shift that to the entertainment industry, are there any specific ways that you hope to be able to give back, specifically within entertainment, whether it pertains to dance or whether it's just in reference to anything creative? Is there something that you kind of have in your mind or kind of on your bucket list of, this is something I want to be able to do or give back to, specifically within entertainment?
So I already do it. With coaching for Mahogany Emotion, I'm able to truly like take what I learned in my walking daily career, within whether it's TV, film, or stage performance or anything like that. I'm able to kind of give back to those girls, and it's interesting because Mahogany Emotion, we are a dance team that trains girls up to be able to thrive in the industry that I'm in, whether it's NBA or NFL dance or being in the commercial industry. We really hone in on those skills for those girls. So I'm able to really streamline my knowledge to the right people all the time. On top of that, in the future, well, I've had mentorship programs and things like that where I, share my knowledge, but I'm an open book. So I don't have like a current, I'm going to have a foundation by this age and this, whatever. But those are definitely things and goals that I do have for myself, because I just love giving back to the community. I'm really passionate about mental health, and I'm very passionate about physical health, just overall wellness. So I do want to open up my own wellness facility down the road. So that is like a goal of mine. Especially because it's not just wellness for like athletes, but just daily, like average person. Like when I think about my grandmother had ALS before she passed away. Her ALS really showed me that, people who have disabilities that attack their nervous system, you know what I mean, that they benefit from certain things like going to swimming pools or, having massages or having certain therapies, and certain like things that we think are luxuries are not really luxury. We're just conditioned to believe they're luxury. You know what I mean? Yeah. And just like different other family members and things like that outside of like athletes. So I do want to have my own wellness center, but outside of that, I feel like my brand is already embedded into how I give back. Like that's already a part of who I am. Like I said, I'm a civic leader. Like I always make sure that I'm an open book and that I mentor those who want to be mentored.
I love that. I love people who are willing to be an open book, because I think that that transparency and that vulnerability is not only rare, but I think it's important for there to be a crop of people who are willing to do that, because I feel like it's necessary to have those vessels for sure.
Yeah, when you get that, you gain so much more.
Absolutely.
Like when I feel like my cup is full, then I know that like that's when I'm able to give back. And then when I empty it out, I know that's when I need to kind of reserve myself and learn more and develop more and you know, whatever, like everything that we learn in life is not for us to hold on to, it's for us to give.
Yeah, I feel like I'm learning exactly that right now. So I'm really glad you said that. Switching gears a little bit, what would you say is your biggest takeaway from working in the entertainment industry? Whether it be a lesson, whether it be a rule of thumb, whatever the case may be, what do you think is the biggest thing you've taken away?
Keep water out your boat.
Keep water out your boat. Break that down. I think I know what you mean, but break that down a little bit more.
Keep water out your boat. Keep your shit still tight. Meaning, when you're working in an industry that's constantly moving, shaking, changing, all of that, you have to be very focused and very like, what is laser focus. And the more people that you have in your boat, and that also means the more bullshit and the more like everything that could come with having too many people come along your journey with you can, you know, things can just happen. So as long as you keep water out your boat, you know, meaning keep your tribe on lock, keep your focus on lock, stay to yourself, don't start no drama, you know, stay don't get involved in no BS, then you will thrive in the industry. You know, like don't talk too much. That's in any industry, honestly. Like don't be stating your opinions to people you don't know. So like if I have an issue with somebody or something, I'm not running my mouth to people within my industry. I don't care if they're not even in, like let's say I'm on a set and somebody made me mad on set. I'm not running to my friend on that set to tell them how I feel. I'm gonna call my mom because my mama not connected to nobody, nothing. I'm gonna call my best friend all the way in Atlanta. You know what I mean? Like, or even when we were both in Atlanta, I'm still call my best friend. She don't know nobody in that industry. You know what I mean? So, and I know her alliance or allegiance is to me and no one else. You know. But yeah, you got to keep water out your boat. Because if you don't, you will sink. Um, Literally going back to the four things that I talked about that keep me afloat and that I think that people should focus on when they're trying to be professionals or creative professionals, professional creatives. That literally all ties into that. Like those are the things you need to keep still tight in your boat. And when you start letting those things slip and fall, you're gonna sink.
Yeah, wow, you're giving a lot of gems today. That's crazy, but no, I really love that message, and I like you said, it applies. I think that's a life message in
Life
general.
message.
To be honest,
You know, people always
yeah.
feel like, oh, so and so don't post their boyfriend, and so don't post their fiance. You know, like I'm thinking about that in layman terms. You know what I mean? Like the average person, they're like, oh, I don't want to post my boyfriend. It's not about people not wanting to post their boyfriend. It's literally they're trying to keep water out the boat. You know,
Yeah.
that's literally all it is. It has nothing to do with, oh, I don't want to show him or her or whatever. It's literally because now if that's their intention, you know what I mean? Now other people got some ill intentions, but you know, for the most part, it's because they want to keep water out the boat. They want to be happy. They
Right.
don't want the old ex-girlfriends and boyfriends and whoever crazy family members coming in like, oh, he did this last. No, girl, I don't want to know about any of that.
No, we don't want to know. We don't need to know. That's
I
the
don't
biggest
need to
thing.
know.
I don't need to. I don't need to know any
If
of
I
that
find out, it's
information.
because I was supposed to find out. If I don't,
Right.
shame on me.
Right. 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 Okay, so a bit of a two-sided question here. So, just like growing up playing sports, understanding that the world is changing now, but there earlier on, like when we were younger, I feel like there was this notion or somewhat of this stereotype that there were certain sports that weren't considered real sports, and I feel like cheer or dance to a degree for some people fell into that category. And then also growing up, it was a little bit more prevalent. I feel like back then, not as much now, or it's looked at in a different way now. But I feel like in a lot of ways in the entertainment industry, women who were backup dancers or who were in music videos or even sometimes in TV shows, they were scripted and seen or were visualized as props to a degree. And I feel like I've seen now more of late there be a little bit more empowerment or women kind of taking back that control and redefining what it means to, even if it's just down to being sexy, just redefining what that means, especially in the industry where they try to make it seem like there's only one way this can look or one way this can be. And I wanted to hear your perspective on women kind of, you know, getting empowerment or getting their power back within that industry and within something that's been kind of dominated by the male perspective to some degree. And I think we're seeing the landscape of that change now.
Okay, for the first question, yeah, growing up, cheer and dance were not deemed as athletic. I think I saw the turning point of that when I was in high school. And we started when I attended Rufus King in Milwaukee, and we started winning like competitions when I was there. And our sports athletic director was giving us varsity letters and, you know, sports acknowledgement, and our trophy case was in school. You know what I mean? So I think that definitely changed when I was attending high school. I feel as though people still don't realize how athletic dance and cheer are. I think it's more athletic than basketball and football, actually. I think that we use way more tendons and way more muscle and way more body control than any football player or basketball player there is. You can actually look it up in their stats on it. I think we do. We stretch our bodies to different extremes, and that's for both cheer and dance. And they do it in two different ways. They're parallel. They do, you know, they do kind of like crossroads a little bit, but they definitely are not like linear. You know what I mean? They're not comparable, but they do. There's some things that are crossover, you know. Same thing with gymnastics. They cross over, but I think that over time, people have had to respect it as athletics, because of a lot of the Me Too movements that have occurred, and also because like media. Honestly, you know, there's so many different TV shows now that really show like what really goes into what we do. I think without media, sometimes like the world really can't see what goes on behind the scenes. So with media and social media and the rise of technology, I think that, you know, people are able to see really what happens. So I think that's where the respect came from. And I'm grateful for that. Because it definitely shows the world like that we're athletes and we train and we have to, you know, protect our bodies, and we have to do all that. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done. I'm not getting paid what a basketball player and football player makes. I'm not making millions off of my career right now. I plan to, but I'm not currently doing it right now. So I'm not signing $1 million contract for being an artist, when it should be that way. You know, we need to pay for insurance, and we need to pay for insurance to cover my finger, my pinky, and my big toe, and my hip. You know what I mean? So I definitely think there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, but I think that we as artists need to also know our rights. And, you know, I think that any dancer or actor, they should definitely know their rights and how much they should get paid, so that they can learn how to ask for what they should be getting paid for, so that they can gain the respect on different sets and opportunities, so that they don't get slighted. Like there's websites called, you know, danceralliance.com, where you can know like what's supposed to happen when you're on set and what's not. Same thing with SAG, of course. SAG is a union, and they protect dancers and actresses and actors and other performers, and choreographers, where they talk about like how we should be protected. So I think that the more people get knowledgeable about how to protect themselves and how to advocate for themselves, the more society will look at what we do as a sport. As far as the image of women within entertainment, I think that dancers have always been dancers, you know? I think what you're probably alluding to is like video vixens.
Essentially.
And yeah, dancers, like we've always been like dancers. We always like, you can go back and look at an old Aaliyah video and they were dancing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we've always been respected as dancers. Definitely artists are now showcasing more of their dancers and having more dance breakdowns within their music video. I think that was something that happened in the 90s, and then they got away from it, and more artists doing more solo videos. And now we're getting back to the point where more artists are having dance breakdowns to where the dancers are seen more. And that's amongst rap artists too, not just singers and R&B singers. Right. Like rap artists like have dancers now. Like I would have never thought that I would have danced for Gunna and Young Thug. You know what I mean? As a backup dancer for the type of music that they make, I would have never thought that they would have female dancers, you know, or artists like a 21 Savage or just different artists that you're like, wow, like 2 Chainz really got dancers, you know what I mean? Or Rick Ross really hired dancers, you know, outside of your typical, you know, like currently I'm dance captain for Sweetie. Of course, Sweetie's going to have dancers. She is a girly girl, you know, she loves to groove and dance and she wants to have those vibes. You know what I mean? Same thing with like a Normani. Normani's going to have dancers. Like Beyonce is going to have that girl power movement. They're all going to have that behind them. But men, you know, like for them to shine women in a light that's not a video vixen, that is very cool to see and witness.
Yes, and thank you for clarifying.
There's nothing wrong with the video vixens. A lot of those women are still getting paid a lot of money to be in those music videos. And like I said, you need to know your rights. Like, don't be that video vixen that's only asking for $200 for a whole shoot date when the other video vixen is getting $1,500 for that shoot date. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I think that that definitely speaks to more to what I was getting towards in terms of, and it was really hard. I didn't know how to really. I always try to be super conscious of like how I'm asking those questions from like a male perspective. But thank you for clarifying and then also like answering what I was trying to.
There's dancers and then there's models.
Yeah. Okay.
And then there's extras when it comes to like music videos, and that goes with men too. Like, I just did a music video for Closer by Sweetie featuring her, and she had male models. They weren't video vixens, they were just male models, you know what I mean? She also had extras on set, you know, and they filled up some of the different scenes. We had a scene in Tokyo, and a lot of those people were extras, you know. So there's different roles and there's different rates for those roles, and like I said, you just need to like educate yourself on what those things are.
Of course. From everything you've either described in detail or alluded to up to this point, and it feels like it's still just the beginning for you, but you've had like an amazing career. So what would you say is like the proudest moment of your career thus far?
Wow, I get asked this question all the time and I never know how to answer this because I feel like I'm such in go mode that I'm always proud about every achievement, because every job I have is a contract job. So it's not like I expect to be working every single day on this one job, you know, because I'm constantly auditioning, constantly being asked to do work. So I guess what I'm most proud of right now is that I'm consistently working. Not all artists can say that they're consistently booking, and I'm a booking dancer and I'm a booking actress. Like, I constantly book, and that's a blessing. So I am most proud of that, because I plan to continue to do that. Like, now that I'm consistent, there's no stopping the momentum, you know? So yeah, that's what I'm most proud of, is that I'm a consistent booking, highly sought after performer.
Very valid. Love that answer, actually. I really, really love that answer. I have a few rapid fire questions for you before we get into my final question.
Sorry, you might see my neighbor in the background.
It's okay. But yes, a few rapid fire questions for you before we get into the final question. So might be a little biased at this point, but favorite person you danced with or did choreography for?
Favorite person I've danced with, definitely Sweetie. I would love to dance for Beyonce one day. I know it's gonna happen, but Sweetie definitely, because Sweetie literally embodies everything that I am as a person. She's a college girl, she's a businesswoman, she's a civic leader, she loves her family, she's very spiritual, and cares about mental health and different things like that. She's very true to her brand, and that's who I am. So I love being on stage with her because that we're able to share that, synergy, and it comes out on stage.
ATL or LA?
LA.
Any particular reason why?
So I grew up in Los Angeles. So as a kid, I went back and forth between Milwaukee and Los Angeles. I came out here every single summer since I was like, a baby. And then when I was 8 years old, I got accepted into Debbie Allen Dance Academy to train in various different dance styles. I was already training in Milwaukee at Milwaukee Ballet and Art in Motion and City Ballet and all these other dance studios that I was taking up dancing. But when I got accepted to Debbie Allen, I came every summer for like 4 months at a time until I basically graduated high school. So I've always loved LA. LA is always my second home. I love Atlanta too. Atlanta has a culture about it, like it's a Black culture that's there and it's very empowering, but I love LA. Like I smile every single day. Like I look at it, it's sunny and beautiful weather. There's mountains behind me that I can look at. Like there's palm trees. I can go to the beach. Like the opportunities are endless. Like that, literally every day I wake up and I'm like, wow, Lord, like you made that mountain. So if you made that mountain that big, like I can't even imagine what you're gonna do for me. Like literally, that's what I think about every single day. So
That's real. That's real. Top three dancing or entertainment inspirations.
Debbie Allen, of course, because I feel like Debbie Allen has the same trajectory as me. She went to college. She, is a performer. She moved into acting and then she moved into directing and producing and creative directing and doing those things. And I see that for myself. Second, my family, my two cousins. I know it's just I'm supposed to do three people, but whatever. My two cousins, because had I not seen them moving and shaking in their career, I feel like I wouldn't have thought it was possible for me. And lastly, myself. I inspire myself, and I'm doing a better job of answering that question when people ask me who inspires me. Me.
That's good. And I think that's important that you are one of your inspirations. I think everybody should be one of their own inspirations for
Right?
sure. They should.
Yeah, one of my mentor friends just told me I need to start correcting that. Like when people ask me like, who do I want to be like I need to start saying me, because it's true. Like you don't want to be like nobody else. You want to be like yourself, but you can definitely be inspired by other people. But yeah, so I'm one of my.
A TV show that you wish you could have been on set for or been a part of.
Fame.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Down or West Side Story. Definitely one of those two. They're one of my favorite musicals. But I think Fame is such a bomb musical. I can see myself. Fame, I'm gonna live forever. I love it.
I can see it. I can see it. And then last but not least, if you are strolling, if they get you into your strolling bag, would you prefer candy or would you prefer Nook if you buck?
Nook if you buck.
I think everybody might prefer Nook if you buck, actually. It's just it does something different to you.
I'm a little hood booger sometimes, so I might look cute and pretty, but don't try me.
I turn into a different person too. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, so for the final question of the interview, you talked about so many amazing things. in the interview up to this point. What would you say makes you, as a woman, as a dancer, as a actress, as an entertainer, what makes you qualified?
Well, what makes me qualified is God, first and foremost, and myself, just being me and who I am and being true to myself. That makes me qualified.
I love that. And I feel like it can always be that simple. No matter how you want to spin it, is God, then it's you at the end of the day. Because after you take everything from God, you make everything shake for yourself. Like it comes down to you at the end of the day. So love that. Love that answer. Wow, you dropped so many gems and so many things that I hope people take away in this interview. Thanks so much for your time. I know you're extremely busy, and I know I've been trying to get this interview for a really long time. So thank you so much. We will have like your socials for everybody to tap in and follow you. Do you have any parting words that you want to say to the viewers or anybody that's watching?
I hope I inspired you today to keep going, to go after everything that you want to be and more. Stay true to yourself and never fold.
Never fold. Y'all heard it here. And until the next interview and y'all see me for the next time, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.